Welcome back to 71 Magazine. I'm joined by Carolyn Ferber, who is the Education Coordinator with the Wendell Foster Campus here in Owensboro. Carolyn, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, okay, March is Disability Awareness Month, and I know this is your fourth year in providing educational programming for the Wendell Foster Campus. So why don't you tell us about this year's focus for the campaign?
It's our fourth year of presenting the Spread the Word to End the R Word campaign. It's actually an initiative that was started and ran by Special Olympics. Wendell Foster's campus took that on, picked it up, ran with it 4 years ago, and it's just continued to grow over the last several years, and we're hoping it will continue to grow in our fourth year this year. And our intention is, the purpose is to help educate the public about the insensitivity and derogatory use of the word retard or retarded. And so it's used, unfortunately, to call people names, especially those with disabilities still, but it's also used as everyday language. It's commonly accepted in young people and even adults language, and it's just, it perpetuates a history of maltreatment and verbal abuse and a stereotype for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities as being stupid or incapable.
Well, and really, like, I think you said it right there at the end. You know, I mean, by people using this R word or being derogatory by using it, they are making an assumption that these people, that they don't have the intelligence, when true in fact that really isn't it. I mean, you know, the Wendell Foster Center, obviously these people have physical disabilities, not necessarily always mental disabilities. Is that true?
That's true. And then there's those who have intellectual, mental disabilities, but are more than capable. Some have careers in Hollywood as actors and actresses, are very involved in community self-advocacy and advocacy for those with disabilities. So we can't assume by looking at someone or judging them by the cover, so to speak, that what they are or are not capable of. Our greater concern with the schools is we're trying to help the kids understand the history of the word and why it's not okay to use it, because they do use it without intent to harm, and it can be used as a way of bullying people. But we're just trying to educate the kids about people who are different, that despite those differences, we still have a lot of things in common, a lot of interests, a lot of hobbies, a lot of things that are similar with each other. And so just because someone's different doesn't mean that they're, you know, the R word in this case. Well,
you know, and I think you hit on a good point. I remember my wife's grandmother a long time ago. Of course, when she was growing up, it was considered the spastic home. And again, I don't think that it was meant to be derogatory for anybody, but I think it was just that was a word that they use. And of course, you know, that word is not, I think we need to be a little bit more sensitive to these people's needs in the situations.
When I was growing up, that was the word that was very common among kids my age as growing up. We were called the spastics home. That was the medical term that was used to describe the condition for the individuals that we serve. As was mental retardation was the terminology doctors used to diagnose those with the intellectual disabilities. And that is all shifting. But unfortunately, the word still hangs on to this inference that these individuals are stupid, are idiots. They're not. They're just, they learn a little bit slower, but that doesn't mean they can't learn. The individuals that we serve, just because they have the physical challenges that cerebral palsy gives them, doesn't mean that they can't learn and grow. We have one individual who knows a few languages. He's self-taught. So I mean, a lot of people don't really understand. It's about getting past what's on the outside.
Exactly. Well, listen, how can schools get involved in this? I know you're getting involved with many of the schools. Where and what can they do to get involved?
Well, we are inviting schools from 8 different districts in 7 counties. Of course, Davis County, Owensboro Public Schools, McLean, Muhlenberg, Ohio, Hancock, Grayson, and Henderson counties. They can get involved a variety of different ways. It can be something as simple as having the conversation in the classroom, getting the kids online and going to r-word.org and making a pledge to not use the R word. They can get more involved by having me or another gal from our campus come in and talk to them, do a presentation that educates them about disabilities, educates them about the message of the campaign. A lot of middle school and high school teachers will use that as the springboard for writing assignments. Or art assignments. We do have an essay and art contest. This year we're opening the art and poster contest to high school students, which is new, which both of those offer cash prizes. They can get involved by buying our t-shirts. We have no R-word t-shirts, and some schools will collect orders and then set a day in the school that they wear that to spread the word.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, now listen, you mentioned earlier something about a bulletin board contest in the schools. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's a new thing. We had a few requests of how can we get our students with special needs more involved in these contests. Their artwork, their essay work was not going to be at the same level as other students, but they still wanted to find a way to get them involved. So we developed the school bulletin board contest. It's exclusive for Davis County and Owensboro schools, middle schools and high schools, in which the students with special needs are empowered through this process to do their own self-advocacy within their school. And we're encouraging those students and the teachers who are working with them on that project to get another class involved or another student group in the school so that we're getting a little more integration, spreading that understanding through the experiential process of designing and creating that board and hopefully, getting the word out to the whole school, but it's coming from the students themselves who have special needs versus everyone else talking about it.
I think you've hit it well. I think that can be really powerful. Now, you also mentioned that you've got some new programs this year that I think will have some good impact.
Well, that's one of them that we're adding to this program, and then we also are doing I've developed a teacher's curriculum that will help the teachers and give them a little bit more to work with in the classrooms, make it easier for them to share with and talk to the students about that. And then we have, as I mentioned earlier, one of our campus members, Shelley Bozarth, is an individual who's lived with us. She has cerebral palsy. We've developed a program to take into the elementary schools. And she goes in with me and reads to the students about a story about an individual with a disability, and then talks about her story about what it means to have cerebral palsy at a level that the younger kids can understand. And we're real excited about that. She's real excited about getting out and working with the kids.
I would say, I mean, that to be quite frank with you, I think that would be very powerful.
Yeah.
To hear that, you know. Another thing, when does this kick off, and how can people get in touch with you? How do they get this information?
Officially, March is the month for Disability Awareness Month, so we start this whole campaign in March. If anyone's interested in having us come into the schools, they want to give us a call at 683-4517 to get us scheduled, because we will start, we're already scheduling schools and presentations. We can talk to the middle and high school kids, or Shelley and I can come out and talk to the younger kids, but we do need to get on the books sooner than later, because there's only 2 of us in 7 school districts.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that would be quite a stretch, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Is this an opportunity maybe for some other nonprofit organizations just to really call you? And in other words, I guess what I'm saying is, would this be appropriate for, let's say, Rotary? Would like to call you, or the Lions Club would like to call you and have you come out and speak. Is this appropriate for that group?
Oh, sure. We'll talk to anyone who'll listen. And absolutely, whether it's groups, the civic groups, whether it's a church group, whether it's a school club or organization, we're happy to come out and talk to folks and help them better understand what's going on.
Well, excellent. Well, listen, Carolyn, I know that you handle the education. Obviously, you're the coordinator of the education aspect for the Wendell Foster campus. What are some of the other aspects of your job?
Oh, well, let's see. I do social media networking. So we're on Facebook. Who isn't? Not
right.
Surprisingly, there are a few who
yeah.
aren't, and we do have a presence on Facebook. And we invite everyone to friend us. We have a page, Wendell Foster's Campus for Developmental Disabilities, and then we have a regular profile page, Wendell Foster. So we do a lot of educating through that program about what's going on campus, some of the successes and accomplishments of our individuals who live on campus. I also write a blog called Unique Bodies, Determined Souls, and that's sharing some of the stories and the challenges of the individuals, how they're overcoming those, what we're doing to help support them and empower them in that process. So that's a real feel-good for anybody who's interested in learning more about what we do. Of course, we're always going out and speaking. We offer tours. We schedule tours for groups. A lot of college kids will come out and do tours, classes, and whatnot. And then anything else that needs to be done.
Yeah. Anything else they throw at you, right?
Yeah.
Well, listen, before we go, the last time you were on this show, tell me about the show that we did, and really more specifically, how was that received? Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, the last time I was here to see you all, it was for promoting Handicap This, which came to town in September. Tim Wambach and Mike Berkson, they were just a charming couple. These two guys were so much fun to hang out with and have. And we had a full house at the River Park Center in the Cannon Hall, the main hall, of students from 2 or 3 different counties come watch their performance. And then we had a public performance. It was a smaller crowd, but it was a good crowd. I mean, they just were thrilled with their visit. They loved Owensboro and the welcome that they got. And we're hoping we can get them back in the future, if not this fall, maybe next spring in coordination with the Spread the Word campaign.
Well, it's just, I think you're trying to change one mind at a time. I think with people educating them, that's the way I see it, because you're very, very well spread out in what you're trying to do, and if you can just change one person at a time, to look at these people a little bit differently, then you're going to be successful.
Yeah. Well, we're trying, and we'd like to do it a group at a time. But I will tell you, even though I'd worked with individuals with disabilities, I didn't realize how much I didn't know until I got started in this position.
I bet.
And so there's always room for growing and knowing. Asking questions. Don't be hesitant to talk to individuals you see out. I know they go to the mall a lot.
Right,
so,
they do.
Say hi to them. Be friendly. They love it when people talk to them, because a lot of people will just not look at them.
Right.
And they're trying not to. I think people think that's rude, but it's not. It's just like you and me running into each other at the mall.
Right.
So yeah.
Exactly.
So ask.
Well, listen, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and best of luck for the month of March with the Disability Awareness Month, and we'll have you on again soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in to this 71 Magazine. I'm your host, John Bryant, and we'll see you right back here in March.